Hi, folks. I'm Johnny Gilbert. Okay, we'll make sure you have some good competition. Player one, what's your name? From the Sony Pictures Studios, this is Jeopardy!
Hello, it's time for Jeopardy! Good luck to all our players. I'll bet you can't wait to see the first round categories. So here they are.
Actors and actresses. Astronomy. Trees. Women in history. Wisconsin. Airlines.
Player one, let's get started.
This star of Nell and the Silence of the Lambs has a degree in literature from Yale.
Player one. Yes. All right, pick again.
As Angela Bennett in this 1995 film, Sandra Bullock found her identity deleted from the information superhighway.
Player one. You are correct. All right, pick again.
He had a role on TV's Dallas before starring in films like Seven and 7 Years in Tibet.
Player one. Exactly. All right, pick again.
She earned an Oscar nomination for starring in The Rose and an Emmy nomination for playing Mama Rose in Gypsy.
Player one. That's it. All right, pick again.
He played the Joker in 1989's Batman and in 1994 turned into a wolf.
Player one. Right you are. All right, pick again.
Founded in 1920, it's the second oldest airline in the world, mate.
Player one. You are correct. All right, pick again.
They love to fly, and it shows.
Player one. That's right. All right, pick again.
Planes operated by this airline can be recognized by a shamrock logo on their tails.
Player one. Correct. All right, pick again.
Formerly the national airline of the Soviet Union, it's now the national airline of Russia.
Player one. To be sure. All right, pick again.
With the assistance of a German company, this Brazilian airline was founded in 1927.
Player one. That's correct. All right, pick again.
It's the only star on which astronomers have observed spots.
Player one. Exactly. All right, pick again.
In 1504, Columbus scared the locals in Jamaica when he predicted one of these.
Player one. That's right. All right, pick again.
Betelgeuse is a red supergiant in this constellation of the Hunter.
Player one. Correct. All right, pick again.
Features on this planet include a mountain ridge named Aphrodite and a crater named Cleopatra.
Player one. You are correct. You're in first place all by yourself. All right, pick again.
The perijove is the point at which a satellite of this planet comes closest to it.
Player one. That's correct. All right, pick again. Answer, Daily Double. Player one, please make your wager.
Popular ornamental types of this tree include brittle and weeping.
Player one. Right you are. All right, pick again.
The sugar species of this tree is a fine ornamental tree, but is intolerant of road salt.
Player one. Right you are. All right, pick again.
Varieties of this fruit tree are grouped into freestone and clingstone.
Player one. Exactly. All right, pick again.
This state tree of Mississippi has the largest undivided leaves and flowers of any tree in the temperate region.
Player one. Why, yes. All right, pick again.
This bald swamp tree is the state tree of Louisiana.
Player one. You are correct. All right, pick again.
This liquid accounts for a majority of income on the state's farms.
Player one. Exactly. All right, pick again.
This city is home to the Pabst Theater and Pabst Mansion.
Player one. That's it. All right, pick again.
This capital city is the state's second most populous.
Player one. That's it, exactly. All right, pick again.
New Glarus was settled by immigrants from this country's canton of Glarus.
Player one. Correct. All right, pick again.
This state nickname was first used for Wisconsin lead miners who dug their homes in hillsides.
Player one. To be sure. All right, pick again.
In his general history, Captain John Smith said he would have been killed if not for her.
Player one. Correct. All right, pick again.
She married Napoleon after her first husband was guillotined during France's reign of terror.
Player one. That's right. All right, pick again.
In 1922, she broke a women's shooting record by smashing 100 clay targets in a row.
Player one. Exactly. All right, pick again.
During the 1980s, she headed two cabinet departments, transportation and labor.
Player one. Right you are.
And to finish the board,
Of the 4 people hanged in connection with the Lincoln assassination, she was the only woman.
Player one. That's it exactly. Well, that brings us to the end of the first round.
Let's look at the total scores so far.
All right, it's time for Double Jeopardy. Let's see if you like these categories in the Double Jeopardy round.
Music. Required reading. In the news. Celebrities speak. The Old Testament. Royal weddings.
This time, player two will start us off.
The Bridesmaids was a memoir about this actress' 1956 royal wedding by one of her bridesmaids.
Player one. Right you are. Player one, it's your turn.
Woody Allen said, "It's not that I'm afraid to do this. I just don't want to be there when it happens."
Player one. That's right. All right, pick again.
Her gown had a 17.5-foot train and was embellished with the initials S and A when she married Prince Andrew.
Player one. That's right. You've got a commanding lead. All right, pick again.
In 1993, Harvard graduate Masako Owada became the first career woman to marry a crown prince of this country.
Player one. Why, yes. All right, pick again. The answer is a video daily double. Player one, please make your wager.
She received about 1,500 wedding gifts, including a picnic basket from her sister, Princess Margaret.
Take a look at your monitor. Player one. Yes, indeed. All right, pick again.
In 1978, American-born Lisa Halliday married King Hussein at Zaharan Palace in this capital city.
Player one. You are correct. All right, pick again.
When an actress asked what her best side was, this lifeboat director said, "My dear, you're sitting on it."
Player one. Why, yes. All right, pick again.
Sam Goldwyn reportedly said, a producer shouldn't get these stomach disorders. He should give them.
Player one. Yes, indeed. All right, pick again.
Howard Hughes said of this movie star, his ears made him look like a taxi cab with both doors open.
Player one. Correct. All right, pick again.
When she won an Oscar for Tootsie, she was grateful to have Dustin Hoffman as my leading lady.
Player one. Correct. All right, pick again.
UN Secretary General Kofi Annan arrived in Baghdad, capital of this country, on a peace mission in February 1998.
Player one. Why, yes. All right, pick again.
The introduction of Dolly the sheep to the world kicked off a debate on the ethics of this in February 1997.
Player one. Yes, indeed. All right, pick again.
In 1998, the Diamondbacks began to play Major League Baseball for this state.
Player one. That's it, exactly. All right, pick again. Answer, Daily Double. Player one, please make your wager.
In September 1997, they became the first weapons to be banned internationally since poison gas.
Player one. That's correct. All right, pick again.
On September 26, 1996, she ended a record 188-day stay in space.
Player one. Exactly. All right, pick again.
A composer's works are often numbered and appear with the abbreviation OP, which stands for this.
Player one. Yes. All right, pick again.
Earlier composers used these large drums in pairs. Modern composers may use 3 or more.
Player one. That's it.
All right, pick again.
Style of music in the titles of the JVC and Playboy festivals.
Player one.
You are correct. All right, pick again.
The name of this deep voice range is also used to describe a violin, a clef, and a tuba.
Player one.
To be sure. All right, pick again.
Liszt and Borodin wrote variations on this short, quick piano tune that can be played with 2 fingers.
Player one.
That's right. All right, pick again.
In Numbers chapter 10, Moses addressed this container as Lord.
Player one. That's it.
All right, pick again.
The musical instrument called a shofar was made from this part of a ram.
Player one. Yes.
All right, pick again.
This beloved psalm contains the line, "Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies."
Player one. Right you are.
All right, pick again.
This wife of Isaac was the daughter of Abraham's nephew, Bethuel.
Player one.
Yes, indeed. All right, pick again.
This prophet ruled Israel at the end of the period of Judges and anointed the first 2 kings.
Player one. That's right.
All right, pick again.
This Jonathan Swift sailor makes 4 fantastic voyages.
Player one.
Right you are. All right, pick again.
One book calls it the classic novel about a scientific experiment to create a man-made human.
Player one. You are correct.
All right, pick again.
The beautiful Rebecca is carried off by Sir Brian de Bois Gilbert in this Sir Walter Scott classic.
Player one. That's right.
All right, pick again.
Absolutely, absolutely. His Absalom, Absalom should be on the list.
Player one. That's correct.
And to finish the board,
Richard Wright's tale of Bigger Thomas, a black youth raised in a Chicago slum.
Player one. That's it. All right, that brings us to the end of the double Jeopardy round.
Let's take a look at the scores.
This is a little anticlimactic, I know, but here goes. Let's see what our category is for Final Jeopardy.
travel and tourism.
Sorry, player 2, you have to sit this one out. Sorry, player 3, you have to sit this one out.
Player one, please make your wager. All right, here's the answer. Good luck.
Let's see how everyone did.
Thanks, Johnny. Player one, your question? That's right. And your wager was? You're in the lead.
Congratulations, player 1. You're the Jeopardy champion.
See you next time for another game of Jeopardy!